Hi, this is Abdulaziz Khan with you. I hope all of you should be fine at your homes. So we start with CNN, our daily commentary of news channels. So protesters in Minneapolis, they set a police station on fire. You remember the yesterday's story when George Floyd, he was wrongly handled by the police and he died. And initially the police says that he was resisting. But now some videos surfaced which shows that he was actually not resisting and he was basically wrongly handled. And that is now they're saying that this move of knee to neck was not indoors. I mean, what does it mean by not indoors? I mean, the CNN anchors who were making the story, he tears up and he says, "I'm so angry." So this is not the way that you should handle things in a country which is very much diversified with, I mean, just it's not very unusual that the white police, they mishandle the black people very easily. And now when these things are unfolded, like the police officer, he has 18 prior complaints against him. So it was a normal for him. He was already doing this many a times. So he was not doing something different, but he was never charged. And right now also he was just fired. I mean, just firing a person is not enough. You should charge him with a murder so that at least I understand that the government should back the law enforcement agencies because they are generally handling a very difficult situation. But if we know now that there was no difficult situation, it was a normal man and he was not resisting, then at least if the people should also be given some kind of assurance that they are also important. I mean, not only the government people are important, everyone is important, everyone is equal in government's eyes. So this should be the kind of lesson from this. But the person who has to take this decision, he's not interested, I think, in these kind of things. He's fighting his own case of getting elected again somehow. So he's slapping Twitter, he's mocking journalists, he's trying his whims, he's trying to do whatever he feels is good for him to bring him in power again. So he has signed a law which will make the social media companies work a bit difficult. So let's see how these things unfold in the coming future. So next thing is that China is embracing a new brand of foreign policy. So we see that foreign policy, China is in, you can say that he is in very fast and furious mode now, indulging in many areas, like for example, with India on a place which is a place of like Ladakh area of it was a kind of autonomous region. It should be given autonomous power, but India and China are kind of fighting over it. Their armies are standing in front of each other, and on the other hand, China has put a law in Hong Kong. They want to bring Hong Kong in the mainland China. They have started the story with Taiwan as well at the almost same time. So they have increased their defense budget. So they are showing that they are serious. They are not on Twitter, but they are serious, I mean. So in Hong Kong, special status is going to be removed. So UK is considering open a citizenship path for the people. Let's see how much this thing helps them. But things for Hong Kong are going to be tough, and A wave of hungry locusts threaten millions. These hungry locusts, they are devastating a lot of regions. They devastated many areas of Africa and uh, Middle East and Pakistan. Now they have gone to India. So these locusts, at the time of big pandemic, they are showing that they are a bigger pandemic because the area, because maybe some people they will not able to even understand the idea, but the problem is that if you don't have seen those remote regions, then you cannot understand this. I mean, there are some part of the world where people are heavily dependent on the crop that they are harvesting, and if that crop is eaten by something else, then those people have no option but just to die, because there is no other option they can easily get. So this is a thing for life and death for those guys. So this locust problem is very big problem in India and Pakistan, because a lot of farmers who are very poor, they have no other option. So if these locusts will hit them, then this will become a very, very much big problem for them, even much worse than corona, because from corona you can at least you can be cured, but the hunger, there is no cure for hunger, no vaccine for hunger. So hunger is something which can kill you very fast. So things in Hong Kong, the artists are fearing for the worst. One good thing, when all electric aircraft is going to take its flight. So the future of nightlife, I don't know why these people are very much interested. I mean, like for example, a lot of things are being done. Why these people are also not used in something? Why there is no alternate for them? It's very strange. I mean, that we know that like this pandemic has shown us that there's alternate for everything. Like for example, once we thought that maybe you always have to work from the office. Now we came to know that you can easily work from home. So there are alternatives. They need to be explored. But when it comes to these people, they show that there is no alternate. There is only one way. So they should find some alternate for everyone. Like this Disney CEO, he's explaining the why it's safe to go back to Disney World. Yes, it's very safe if you keep the social distance possible. And we have seen that the US guys, they don't take care of social distances, and that's why they have the highest number of deaths. And this man is only interested in tweeting and tweeting, so these things are not easy to be handled with this kind of leadership. So let's see what's on BBC. So National Guards are deployed. Minneapolis police station is on fire. So South Korea schools close again over virus spike. So like these countries, they take a lot of care. I mean, we can see, I have seen many videos and many uh, pictures, but still the virus is very powerful, and whenever you give it a bit of room, it strikes again. So it's not very much easy. So Trump signs the order targeting social media. So UK is trying to ease out the Hong Kong guys. Moscow death toll is doubled. So it's getting tough in Moscow now. Things are getting tough everywhere. I mean, you have to keep a social distance like this, which is not possible everywhere or for everyone. But if you really want to go out, if you really want to do everything that you are already doing, that then at least you have to take care of this thing. So let's go further. Zookeeper mauled in lion attack. The Mediterranean mysterious mummies. So as we can see that fires and tear gas in Minneapolis. So Minneapolis is having a bad time because of some wrong moves by the police guys. Let's go to China. China is showing very, very beautiful face to the world. So the residents are signing petition. This is again, it's kind of joke. I mean, they put a lot of people behind bars. They arrest a lot of people, and these 4 or 5 people, they are signing something. And I don't know, because if we could zoom out, maybe there should be policemen around them. We don't know this, but China is China. I mean, if it has to do something, then it has to do something. And nowadays, the good thing is, previously when you are doing any this kind of thing, you were a bit uh, suspicious because your face could be recognized by someone. But now everyone has a mask. It's a best time to do anything. I mean, because everyone is wearing a mask, you don't know who is behind the mask, and then you can ask him to do whatever is required. So Chinese survey team has reached and Mount Komolangma, and they have done the survey and they have recorded the summit peak. So China is showing that we are China adopted decision to make Hong Kong national security laws. So Hong Kong is no more Hong Kong. It's part of China now. Maybe very soon they will even change the name. And they will now, maybe they will call it something different because it's a part of their country now, and they are focusing on Taiwan now. So China mainland reports no new confirmed, but some other newspaper reports that China has some new cases, which China is not showing now. So China is also maybe starting hiding things because they have almost opened all of their country. So this Indian capital is bracing for locust attack. You see this wall, this brown color? These are locusts. This is not the color of the wall. These are locusts sitting on the wall. So robot delivers meals to customer. This is the way. If you want to open restaurants, you should force them something like that, because otherwise there is no good. There is more bad in opening up the things. The things should be controlled. Japan is also getting very bad shape. This is also very much important now that even the big economies like Japan, they are also trembling under this corona outbreak. So George Floyd is on Al Jazeera as well. He's everywhere, and these Chinese Hong Kong is also on Al Jazeera. China reports no new case as per Al Jazeera. Okay. Trump escalates Twitter. So this poor guy, he was not able to bury his father. So this corona is exposing some inequality as well. If you are not rich, and maybe you cannot even bury your debts. Now I don't know what to do with those. I mean, if you cannot bury them. So India is bracing against this small thing. Like the whole world is bracing against a very small creature which we cannot see from eyes, the coronavirus. This, at least you can see it, but it has get the same famous. I mean, if you want to live on social media, you must be very famous. So this guy is the famous person of the world now. And this crash in Pakistan, it has shown that the airline industry in Pakistan is in very bad shape. We can only pray for the people who have to travel through airplanes. because now it is unfolding that it is not a very simple thing. I mean, like the airline industry, they are trying to blame the pilot. The pilot is trying to blame the pilot is dead. I mean, but the people who represent the pilots, they are trying to blame the maintenance kind of thing and the safety procedures. So a lot of, I mean, it, when these kind of allegations start, in some countries, what happens? You got a crash, you pinpoint the crash, the person responsible, he resigned or whatever. Like in Japan or other countries, that because they do a lot of suicides, so the person suicides without anyone saying him anything. But in um, these third world countries, what happens is that everyone start alligating the other one. So somehow this is better in a way that it gives you a whole picture. You came to know that the problem is not only specific to some place. There is a big problem everywhere. So if someone really wants to solve the problem, then he can see it from he can zoom out and he can see he can see a broad picture and he can try to uh, correct things. But here the problem is that everyone is throwing the blame on the other guy and he's trying to save himself with such a, like, I will term it as the Trump way. I mean, he tried to save him in the Trump way so that no one is even allowed to ask him that he has also done some mistake. I mean, he said, no, 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 I have done no mistake. All mistake is because of these other three guys. So if there are four guys and everyone is blaming the remaining three, so it means that all four of them are equally responsible and they should be treated in the same way. Let's hope that this crash brings some big change in the airline industry in Pakistan and people are more made safe. Because in last 20 years, I think a lot of accidents have happened and two or three or maybe three or four of them were very fatal. I mean, a lot of people gave their lives. So it's time that the things change and something better come out of it. So all-out combat feared as India, China engage in a border standoff. Yeah, it's very, very threatening because both countries are quite powerful as well. And if they really go in some kind of fighting, then it will not be very easy kind of fight. So our last of the newspapers. So Minneapolis has some unrest. We should go towards US death toll increasing with thousands of numbers daily and things going up and up. And this person is not in a mood to correct the things. And the new normal, how safe are the beaches? Yes, nothing is safe now. So calm before the storm for Japan. So Japan suicides as coronavirus ravage economy. So we know that when in Japan, when things happens, when bad things struck, then people they start doing suicides, and there's even a legal suicide thing in Japan. I mean, you talk to some people and they try to convince you, and but because of Corona, these call centers are also on a very low people. I mean, they don't have a lot of people to handle the calls that they are getting. So this thing may be very, very serious for Japan. So Lebanese data stricken Lebanon. Things in the whole world, Nord Storm sales plunged by nearly 40%. So they are going to close down some of their stores. So things in the world are not very easy. Students in pandemic. Volkswagen pumps 2 billion euros into Chinese electric vehicle, but buys stake in two firms. So Volkswagen is putting money in China, oil prices fall as US fuel demand remains weak. So if the people are dying, they should try to understand, and if they will stop, this is also a big problem of the world. I mean, if you ask the people to stop and to lesser their movement, then this thing also hit a lot of other areas. So it's very much interdependent. I mean, you cannot easily say that we will do this thing and then, because you do one thing and that thing has its effects on a lot of other things. So UAE has now to cut July crude nominations. So things are getting tough everywhere. So let's finish for today. The news are very, you can say that today the news were very much shocking, and at least in US, the kind of unrest that the US is witnessing because of some mismanagement of some people. And this guy is only busy in his own problems. So see you tomorrow with tomorrow's headline. Bye.